Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of specification, how to write specification of different item of works. So students, this is our second session of the lecture series of specification, and in the previous session, in the first session of specification, we have learned about what is specification, what are the purpose of specification, what were the objectives or the importance of the specification. At last, we have seen the types of specification. So before starting a new topic today, let us just revise that what actually we have learned. So what was specification? So as you already know, that specifications are the document which is being prepared to specify the quality of material, quality of workmanship, method of preparation of an item, and other details which cannot be shown in the drawings and which is required to complete a project in accordance with the certain details. Also, one of the important things we have discussed in the last session was that specification is a legal document. That means in discrepancy between drawing and specification will govern the strength and contract of the client has to accept, which is what is written in the specification. Why we need specification? What was the purpose? So, to define the quality of material, to define the quality of workmanship, to define or to supervise the work of the contractor, to help the contractor in filling up the rates, to check the contractor's rate, and many more. Then I would like to make a point here that if you read the theory of importance and the purpose of specification, they are more or the less the same. Only the perspective is being bit of different. Importance is being why the specification is important, and purpose, that means why we need specifications. So almost both the theories goes hand in hand, only the sentence formatting is bit of different. Then we have already learned that there were two types of specification: brief and detailed. Brief, it gives general outline of the work and it does not forms the part of the legal document. The legal document is being considered as detailed specification. We have also learned that in some standard specification which are being prepared by the state public work departments or the central public work department and printed in the book which is named as standard specification or detailed specification. So that was what we have discussed in the first session of the lecture series of specification. Now, what we are going to see today, let us check. So we are going to see principles of writing specification or principles of writing good specification. Students, as in field engineer, as in site engineer, from the contractor side, from the client side, or if you are in government engineer, or if you are in a project management consultancy, you are a supervising engineer, whatsoever your role is, if you do not know how to read the specification or how to write the specification, you are technically in a big loss. You must learn this topic, or you must aware about this kind of things, that what should be included in the specification, how should be they included in the specification. So today we are going to discuss principles of writing specification. There are total 10 principles which we are going to discuss. Let us see what they are. So the first principle is subject matter, second is grammar, then meaning, then abbreviation, number 5 is accuracy, then another 5 specifications are fairness. Number 7 is practicability. Number 8 is clauses of specification. Number 9 is workmanship. And at last, at number 10, there is tools and plant. So we are going to learn 10 specification. I am repeating again. The first is subject matter. Second, grammar. Third, meaning. Fourth, abbreviation. 5, accuracy. 6, fairness. 7, practicability. 8, clauses of specification. 9, workmanship. And the last is tools and plants. So let us start discussing each of them into detail. Before we get into the detail of each and every type of point which should be taken care of while writing the specification, one point which I want to highlight here, that students, these specifications are written before the contractor is selected for the work. Yes, that means you have to be very careful. You are not aware that who is going to be your contractor, who is going to be selected for the work. This is completely before pre-construction process. I guess pre-construction process. So you have to be very accurate in whatever you write, because one small mistake can lead to huge technical loss or either huge financial loss. So I hope you have understood that why we are studying this into very detail. So starting with the first principle, that is subject matter. It should relate to the information which you need to provide to the contractor after the work is allotted to him. The requirements which are to be enforced should be there in the specification. And the last point in the subject matter is that use of cross references should be minimum. Students, as the name suggests, subject matter, that means if the contract is only the construction of the retaining wall, then you only need to provide the information or your specification. The subject matter of your specification should only relate the things which are in the connection with the work. You don't have to provide very extra information, or you don't have to provide very less information. Both of them are the dangerous. If you provide less information, the contractor is going to work very less or going to work according to that. If you are going to give very extra information, contractor is going to get confused, or it might happen that contractor misinterprets the data. So subject matter should be clear, that only information which you want to provide to the contractor in connection with the work, only that information you have to provide. Use of cross references should be minimum. So if you are in a government project, you don't try to give cross references that refer point number 1.1.1 or refer the Indian Contract Act section 2A subclause 5B and so and so. So there should be minimum cross references, because this kind of cross references will tend to the misinterpretation of the data from the contractors, or it may happen while you are drafting, you just misspell or you just forgot to write any cross references where you have wrongly given the cross reference, so it may lead to a very huge technical loss. So our first principle is subject matter. The second is grammar. Let us see. All the sentences of the specification should comply with the rules of grammar. The hyphens, commas, semicolons should be used as and when they are required in a sentence. And the sentence should be framed in such a way that addition or the subtraction of such a minor comma should not alter the meaning of the sentence. Students, here we are going into a very minor level detailing that you must take care that where you are providing a comma, semicolon, hyphen, you all need to see that, because one comma here or there that can change the entire meaning of the sentence, and that could be a profit point for the contractor and loss point for the client. So you need to check that in very detail. As far as possible, the pronouns, especially relative pronouns, should not be used. It is advisable to repeat the nouns. The style of the tense shall be the same throughout the specification. Students, this is again very important point under the head of grammar, that your specification should be written in the same tense throughout. If you are writing in a past tense, then write entire document in the past tense. If you are writing in the past present, write entire document in the past present. But that tense should be the same throughout the document. The sentence shall be short, concise, and simple. Yes, the sentences which are going to use in the specification should not be very long and should not be misinformative. They should be simple, short, and concise. Concise means to the point. You just provide the information which you exactly want to give. No other extra information, no lengthy sentences, you drag the sentences with the use of and commas and buts and also. So don't do that while writing the specification. Try to keep it as simple as and as short as possible. So that is about grammar. The next is meaning. While writing the specification, only suitable words with desired meaning should be used. Words having more than one meaning shall not be used. So students, here in this principle, the principle is trying to say that don't use such words or such vocabulary or such synonyms that have more than one meaning. That from the client's end, it is representing something else, and it's a contractor's end, it is representing something else. The most important example of this meaning is the word shall. You need to put this shall word very precisely, and shall and must, I guess you are aware of both the terms, that shall and must. So must is a compulsion. So you can't put must everywhere and you can't put shall everywhere. So the meaning of the selection of a word should be carefully done. The next is abbreviation. Only those abbreviations which are well known in the building industries shall be used. The use of abbreviation is to reduce the retyping work of the entire word without sacrificing the clarity of the word. Students, abbreviations means short forms such as PCC stands for plain cement concrete, RCC stands for reinforced cement concrete, CI stands for cast iron. But what if I use another abbreviation named LST? Will you understand as a contractor? No, you are not going to understand the LST. Students, LST generally stands for laser screed technique. Now this laser screed technique is not something which we use in our day-to-day process. So use only those abbreviations which are well known in our industry. Don't try to create such LST type of abbreviations by yourself. So I hope we are clear up to this point. The next is accuracy. Specifications should be complete and correct. Otherwise, the contractor may claim any extra cost to damage occurred by him by the misleading information provided by the owner. Yes, you need to maintain the accuracy. Let me give you this. Let me give you the example for this. Suppose that you have written a sentence in the specification that contractor shall throw the excavated material outside the plot area. I am repeating again that you have written in the specification document that contractor shall throw the excavated material outside the boundary of the plot area. That means contractor has not to throw the material inside the boundary of the plot area. That means here you have word, first the mistake is you have chosen the word shall. That means it is not compulsory. Now let us take another scenario that you are using must. So the contractor must not throw the excavated material inside the plot area, or the contractor must throw the excavated material outside the plot area or the boundary area. Now, in such condition, contractor can misinterpret your given data. He can throw the excavated material either on the road, either just outside the plot, or he can throw the material, or he can stack the material at the just adjacent plot towards your plot. So, in such cases, as a client, you cannot argue with the contractor. Why? Because the contractor has followed the word by word specification. He has fulfilled the condition of the specification. So you can't argue him. Instead of, you can write that contractor must throw the excavated material outside the plot area at unobjectional place. Now only you have added this unobjectional place. So contractor will understand that neither he could throw the material on the road, neither he can stack it on the adjacent plot. So this is how the accuracy works. Any minor misleading information will going to cost you very high. The next is fairness. The specifications should be written in fair manner and not to written in the aspect of throwing all the risk on the shoulders of the contractor. Yes, when you are writing the specification, you are not giving all the things on the contractor's shoulder. You are not burdening him. The specifications are there to guide the contractor. There are certain responsibilities which are to be fulfilled by the client himself, and there are certain things which are need to be done by the contractor himself. So by writing the specification, you cannot throw all the things on the contractor's shoulder. So here, the fairness does not mean the fair and lovely cream. The fairness means the equality. How you write the specification, that should be equally balanced. Okay? So moving forward, the next is practicability. That means the specification should be written with the aspect of practical limitations of machineries and workmanship. The specification should not specify the practical impossibilities. Also, while writing the specification, you need to keep this in mind that you only mention about the commercial size or the standard size which are available in the market. If you are asking for a specialized sizes or which are not available in the market, which are to be specially created, that will be lead to high cost. So that is about practicability. The next is clauses of specification. As far as possible, all the specifications should be written in the same order in which the work is going to be executed. If the work is going to be executed from the excavation to finishing, your specification must be written from the excavation to the finishing. This we have already discussed in our first session, that the order of the sequence of the specification should be maintained. Moving forward, the next is workmanship. Complete description of the workmanship, method of preparation of an item, mixing, curing, etc., whichever is applicable to the item of work, should be clearly specified in different clauses of the specification. So workmanship is one of the important point, because at the end, client is going to check the quality, that how it is being finished. And even if your product is giving good strength, but it is not in the view of client, you have to recreate it. So workmanship, you need to very define precisely in the specification. The last is tools and plants. So in specification, you must specify if there is any special requirement from the client's end, so that client can available that equipment by the start of that work. So you must specify that a particular work should be carried out by the particular equipment. So these are the principles of writing specifications. I hope we are clear about it, and you need to keep those in mind while you are in the practical field or you are at the site. From next session, we are going to learn about drafting of specification. We are going to see the theories from the CPWD, that how they are drafted, and will understand each of them in detail. So this is it. That was all about in today's session. In case of any query or doubt, you can always contact me on my mail or my number. Thank you.